2 days ago, Render Judgment went 59 flat here at Churchill Downs for Kenny McPeek. And Kenny, of course, he's looking like a long shot, but he has improved the Buyers the last 4 races. So you mentioned that you feel like he might be at his best right now.
Well, his workout this weekend was the best work he's ever put in, by far. And he's won here, and I do think he's going to like a mile and a quarter, but admittedly he needs to find a whole nother level of talent that he hadn't shown in the afternoon. He shows he's a nice solid horse, and by no means, he's not chopped liver, but he's got to show a complete next level to win next Saturday. And, you know, look, we're going over there with a horse that's doing super, and we've got a rider that we're confident in, and weird things have happened.
Take Charge Milady also looking to be a live contender in the Oaks. Now, you mentioned that there's been a very minor issue. I think you called it a hangnail, but how is that progressing leading up to the race?
Well, trying to explain something like this to people that don't know much about quarter cracks and abscesses on thoroughbreds. At the top of her coronet band, about 5 or 6 days ago, she had a little abscess, which is a little small infection bubble popped out the top. Timing's rough. She had a fantastic work 2 weeks out of the race. We just what I'd call long and slow Saturday. We're trying to drive this thing out and make sure that she's real comfortable on it. She trained good on it this morning, but it really we're not going to really know until Thursday or Friday, and that's going to be kind of nip and tuck. I've cross-nominated her to the Black-Eyed Susan if for off chance she doesn't make the Kentucky Oaks. But we dealt with this going into the fantasy, and I had to scratch her in the fantasy, and we came back a week later and she ran the best race of her life in the Ashland. So these are things we deal with regularly. I tend to be quite open about it, and I've showed it to a few people, but in the meantime, fingers crossed she makes it.
How has this training experience been different this year coming back as the reigning Derby and Oaks champion trainer?
Well, no different. We still have to worry about horses one at a time, and that's what we did last year, and that's what we're doing this year. And I think reflecting back on last year, you'll never take that for granted. I know that was an amazing weekend, and sometimes I wonder if I should have just quit on Sunday morning after that one. I don't know if I can get any higher of a feeling.
And to make it even better, Netflix has a documentary about it, which you have, of course, been one of the stars about. So how's the reviews been for the Netflix show?
Well, I'm not under the radar anymore. I can't go to Starbucks or anything like that without somebody saying, hey, can I get a picture? That's been interesting. We weren't anything but ourselves. We just were ourselves, and I'm real proud of, being a part of it, and hopefully it helps promote our sport.
And lastly, how about the horse of the year herself, preparing for a race coming up this weekend?
One of the easiest horses in my career to train and be around. She's doing super. We had planned all along Apple Blossom back into La Troyenne, and I think it's her race to win as long as everything goes okay.
Kenny McPeek in the Derby and Oaks, and of course the horse of the year coming up this weekend in Torpedo Anna.